everybody to another fun, exciting day on our little field trip. Today we have some fun in store for our writing, as well as continuing on with our story. Last week we kind of took a little intermission from our story and did some fun writing techniques to some music. By the way, everybody's homework that they submitted was very well done, and I liked a lot of the different things that we put together. I would love to go over all of them, but that would take forever, so just take the critiques that I give you in the emails back. Anyways, today joining me once again is Sean Pill over here, and on the other side is Lady Miss Fern Sky. There we go. Her name changes every single time. Anywho, let's go ahead and get started with the new archetypes that we are going to be learning today. So the very first one that we're going to talk about today is actually one of my favorite archetypes to play as when playing a role-playing game. Now, some people might think, that's not the one you want to play. But it actually makes for some very good comedy, which is kind of hard to do in writing, and so you're going to need a very good archetype and someone who sticks to this archetype very strongly. And that archetype is the coward archetype. The coward archetype. And what is the coward archetype, if we don't already know? It is someone who is always scared of all sorts of different things. They're not scared of one specific thing. So Indiana Jones, he is scared of snakes. That doesn't make him a coward. It's just his one weakness, just like Superman has kryptonite as his weakness. No, the coward is scared of everything. He's scared of pianos for no good reason. He's scared of pigeons because he thinks they're going to attack him. He or she is scared of all sorts of different things for all unimaginable amounts of reasons, which creates a whole lot of fun that hopefully we'll get to see portrayed. And the cool thing with the coward is a lot of times, if it's a heroic coward, at the end of the day, they get to save the day by overcoming their fear. And so in some ways, they get to challenge themselves and do some of the most heroic things, because the battle that they're having isn't necessarily a battle that they're having without all the exterior things. Those are the things causing their fear inside. So their biggest struggle is an internal struggle within themselves that they must defeat. So eventually, the heroic will overcome this and save the day or win the day, or perhaps in some cases sacrifice themselves for everybody else. Now, I have one example. There is tons of examples of the coward. My one example that I have here today is Rex from Toy Story. And this one's kind of funny and humorous because Rex from Toy Story is depicted as a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So typically a Tyrannosaurus Rex is very strong and snarling and angry and very vicious. But Rex is kind of a cute little dinosaur who's scared all the time about all sorts of different things. But in all the different Toy Story movies, there's always one moment where he kind of overcomes his fear and he uses his typical T-Rex rah-rah-rah-rahness to win or help his entire team. And so it makes him a very lovable and endearing character because he is kind of like a cowardly opposite, because he's not a typical mean, angry T-Rex. He's like the opposite of that, but he eventually overcomes it. So that is Rex from Toy Story. Some other quick examples are the Cowardly Lion from Wizard of Oz. Another one would be C-3PO from Star Wars. He's kind of always a little bit scared of different things and what have you. And there's plenty more. And there's also the Cowardly Villain, which is very similar. They're scared of different things, and that causes them to do bad and evil things, opposed to do the heroic thing to save the day. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next archetype that we are going to be role-playing today. And this next one It's a little bit hard to say, but it's the anthropomorphic personification. So what is that? It's kind of a big word. And what it is it is a character who is not really human or necessarily alive sometimes. And so I'm going to go ahead and start with the examples here and then read kind of what the definition is. So maybe you get an idea first before the definition fills it in. So we have the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, as well as the Scarecrow. The Tin Man doesn't have a heart. A heart is very much in our culture, that a heart is what makes you human. It has your soul, or it's what gives you emotions or feelings. And then the other thing is the Scarecrow. Kind of the same thing. He's just a scarecrow. He doesn't have any flesh or anything. He's just kind of there. But he comes alive, and so does the Tin Man. So you're like, whoa, are these real people? Are they not real people? And throughout the entire Wizard of Oz, you discover that they are very much real. But it's a question the whole time. We have some other examples. Data, one of my particular favorites. Data, he is an android from Star Trek, and his biggest goal in life is to become more human. Despite the fact that he's stronger, quicker, can do more calculations in his head and can know more information than everybody else in the whole story, he really just wants to become human. Another example is C-3PO. He doesn't necessarily want to become human, he just kind of is a droid, what have you. But once again, not only is C-3PO kind of a coward, he also is kind of like a robotic personification of what a human would be, even if he's like a bad version of it. So, what is an anthropomorphic personification? A non-human being, or animals, so it could be an animal, alright, that is ascribed human traits, emotions, ambitions, or behaviors. So, in the case of, from the Wizard of Oz, you have the Cowardly Lion and the Scarecrow. They're ascribed essentially not having something, but we end up finding out that they do have those things. They have a heart, they have courage, they have bravery, what have you. Data, his thing is he wants to be human. He wants to have emotions. And then, if it all makes sense to you, what is maybe the oldest story we have from all of this, and that is Pinocchio. Pinocchio, he's a wooden puppet, he comes alive, he's not human, and what does he want to do? He wants to become a real boy. So his story, along with all these other character stories, is to essentially become real human being. And so that's what their entire journey is all about. And so you, now that you know what this is, anthropomorphic character, you'll see them all the time in many different ways. And so today we are going to be having our characters play as one of them each. What I want you to do now is to go ahead and choose one. Do you want to be the anthropomorphic personification? So that means maybe you're a droid, maybe you're a walking, talking hologram, maybe you're some sort of puppet that has come to life through some sort of computer chip or something, because we're in the Star Wars theme, something like that. So think about that, come up with a name for yourself, and then follow along and see if you would be doing the same thing. And basically your homework is going to be writing your entire character out, so come up with ideas as we're going along. If it is not that, there is the coward, so you can come up with a name for the coward, so come up with either you're going to be the coward or the Pinocchio character. So, one of those two. Now, where did we leave off in our story? We left off with our characters. They had finally found where the Force holocron that they were looking for, but it had already been taken, and they had found a note. And the note that they had found read that a character by the name of Nicola Ryanlock had already taken the thing, and that if you wanted to see it, you could come to his beautiful museum on Nwanta 4, and basically he's an archaeologist who had gotten there first, and he now wants you to come pay money to see it. And the story is going to take place with our characters on their ship flying to Nwanta 4 to see if they can get the Force holocron back. But let's first introduce our characters. So we'll start, Sean, will you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your character, and if you're the coward or the anthropomorphic personification?
So my character I'm going to be playing the anthropomorphic personification, and for my character, I am a protocol droid, the same kind of droid that C-3PO is. My character's name is LM34, but whereas C-3PO is golden or red, depending on which version of you want to go with him, I am green. So I look a lot like C-3PO, but I'm green. And a little bit about my character's backstory. He was built on Coruscant. His builder gave him a new processing chip that lets him understand certain humans' emotions, and he's trying to learn all of them.
Excellent. All right. So we've got a droid, perfect, not human, but he has a chip specifically designed in him so that he wants to learn emotions, and he's capable of doing it. Or, because he's a robot, is he not capable of doing it? And that's the big question for this type of character. All right, so for our next character, Lady Miss Fern, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your character?
Awesome. I'm choosing the archetype of the coward, and her name is Claire. She is a human from Corellia. She has pigtail braids with blue end ribbons. Her favorite color is pink. And a reason why she's pretty much almost scared of everything all the time was there was a big electric tornado storm that came over Corellia and pretty much destroyed her farm and her parents' house when she was a little girl, so she hasn't recovered from that. And that's why she's always scared.
Ooh, excellent. So she has a deep, old story of why she's scared. So that's a really good thing. So hopefully maybe she can overcome that, or she's working on it. All right, so once again, both of our characters are on the ship flying to Nwanta 4, and ready, set, go.
Hello, Claire. I am LM34. It is nice to make your acquaintances.
Non-human voices scare me. They make me nervous.
Oh, well, you can see I pose no harm. I am a protocol droid here to help you in your quests.
That doesn't help. You still sound scary.
I can assure you I am not scary.
Okay.
Would you like me to perform a task for you to prove that I am not scary?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Shall I look up on the computer where we are headed to maybe keep you from being afraid of things?
Yeah, let's do that.
It looks like we are heading to Nwanta 4. It is, we are going to go find a museum, and it is run by Nicola Ryanlock. I see that he is a criminal on 14 planets, and he is wanted by the Empire, the Hutts, and the Rebellion. He sounds like an interesting fellow, and I would love to meet him.
A what?
A wanted criminal on 14 planets.
Why is he wanted?
He must be really, really handsome to be wanted by that many planets.
Suddenly, the ship's computer goes over the loudspeaker and goes, "Boop," now arriving at Nwanta 4.
Planets with numbers scare me.
Well, you see, the reason that the planet is designated Nwanta 4 is because the main planet is actually Nwanta, and we are landing on its 4th moon.
Moons also scare me.
Well then in that case, I will land the ship in the closest parking spot.
Excellent. You go down, flying your ship down to where the museum is, and over in an area you see a parking lot of other spaceships and vessels that is very, very full, but on the back of the museum you see a dark alley that has a couple parking spots.
The dark alley with a few parking spots looks like a perfect place to park.
But it's an alleyway. That's not a parking spot.
Yes, the parking spot is right there because I can fit my ship there.
But it's dark.
I do not need light to see, so we shall be fine.
Excellent. They land the ship.
Ah!
Excellent. You guys walk outside of the ship, and you see a door leading to the back of the museum. That over the top of it, in Nuwantan, it says exit.
Look, an entrance. You can see because there's a sign.
But what does it say above the sign?
I do not read Nuwantan.
I think it reads... Nope, that's not a way in. That says exit.
But the door is right there. We should go in.
I think we should go the other way around the building. I don't want to get in trouble.
Are you feeling the human emotion of afraidness?
Scared.
Yes, that one. I'm currently learning emotions. I have mastered happiness. Watch me laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. How did I do?
You're getting there.
See, I have mastered happiness. Now let me try to master being afraid. Ah. Ah.
Alright, then.
How am I doing?
You're getting there.
Ah.
Do you guys go in through the door?
Yes.
Excellent. The protocol droid opens the door and walks into the room. And as you walk in, it is filled with beautiful, lovely plants. And even you yourself, Claire, notice that it is very beautiful in here and has a beautiful, beautiful smell of flowers amongst it. And it makes you feel happy when you first walk in.
Oh, the flowers are actually relaxing and not so scary.
We must be in the butterfly exhibit that I read about.
Butterflies are my favorite.
Yes, they are quite beautiful. I like the antennas.
I like the blue one with the wings and then it flies away. And I also like the orange one too. That also flies away. And
Suddenly, you hear something flying overhead, very large flapping, and the sound of some creature as it flies by quickly, brushing your hair and scooping and wiggling one of your pigtails as it goes, and it lands on a nearby branch. And you notice that there's gook and ookiness all over your pigtails as it lands, as this giant butterfly with neon green and orange wings flies by and lands on the branch next to you.
ah, that's not a monster. That's not a butterfly. It's a monster. It's a monster.
It turns back at you and looks at you with its big eyes, and they go.
No, it's a monster. It looks like a butterfly, but it's too big.
And
It looks beautiful.
it has its little teeth, and it goes. It then begins to open its mouth and hiss out some sort of liquid at the both of you. Go ahead and roll the dice to see if you dodge out of the way of the liquid. You don't.
I do not roll any dice because I do not try to move because my character does not feel that he is in any trouble.
Excellent. It hits the both of you, and you suddenly notice that it is an acid, and it's beginning to burn your skin, Claire, and you take 5 points of damage.
I told you it was a monster.
Your metal skin is not damaged by the acid.
It burns.
Excellent. What would you like to do? You now notice that you are surrounded by 10 or 12 of these different butterflies. And after you look around, you notice that there's a window and there's a whole bunch of people watching you inside this butterfly exhibit.
Is there any water nearby?
Yes, there is a few steps away, some water nearby.
I run to the water and try to pour it on myself to wipe away the acid before it burns me.
Excellent. As you put your hands into the water, you notice that the water is actually more of a jelly-like substance, and nice and goopy like gack, and that as you put your hands in it, it burns your hands even more.
I throw the bucket away and over my head and try to run for it.
And as you do that, the butterflies all swarm you and begin eating this acidy gook, and you've noticed that it is their food source. And they're eating all over you and pinching your skin all over the place. And
Butterflies are not my favorite anymore!
you take another 3 points of damage as the butterflies eat, and they have eaten so much that your pigtail has been clipped off.
I told you they're monsters!
Claire, what emotion are you feeling currently so I can write it down in my databanks?
Being eaten alive!
That is a very unique emotion. I will remember this one.
Suddenly, the lights in the exhibit turn off. Boom. And you can no longer see, except you can see because you're a robot and you have infrared, and you see a human character walking towards you with a lantern that is very, very low colored red light. And you hear the voice call out to you and say, my friends, what are you doing in my butterfly exhibit? Quickly, before they eat you. Come outside. You've come in the wrong way. I should always lock that back door. But Charlie never listens. Come with me. Do you go with this particular character?
I run out the door.
Yes, he seems extremely trustworthy.
Excellent. He leads you out, and he asks you once you get outside, my lovely friend with the pigtail. Not tails, but pigtail. Would you like to use the bath and clean up?
Yes, please.
Excellent. After you've used the bath and cleaned up, he invites the both of you into his office to ask you questions on why you came in through the back door, and you're now sitting at his desk office, and he introduces himself, and he says, my friends, my name is Nicola Ryanlock. I am the owner of this museum. And why are you here? I may have to fine you for going into the butterfly exhibit the wrong way.
Mr. Nicola, you are extremely handsome, seeing as how you are wanted on 14 planets.
Oh yes, many of the different ladies there like me.
He seems very trustworthy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Why don't you tell him why we're here?
Mr. Nicola, we are here because we are looking for a Sith holocron.
Oh, a false holocron, you say? I do have one of those. Let me show it to you. He leads you downstairs through 10 bolt-locked gates, and he leads you down there, and he shows you the Force holocron on display, and he shows it to you, and there it is, sitting there. It's a little tiny disc, no bigger than your hand, and it's glowing red. It's glowing red, and it seems to be made out of some sort of black metal that's glowing red.
Can I walk up and grab it?
No, you can't. It's behind a glass case.
Okay.
So there it is. You've seen it now. Now go ahead and pay my museum fee, 100 credits each.
I do not have any money, Claire. I don't have pockets. You will have to pay for us.
Okay. I only have enough for one of us. But he's not living. Does he count?
He counts for double. You owe me 300 credits now.
Oh no, being in debt scary.
Is this a time to use a scared emotion?
No, yes.
Ah! We have to pay triple. Ah! Did that one go well?
Yeah, being in debt is scary.
All right, then. In that case, you'll have to mop the floors tonight.
Is there anything else we could do?
Mop the floors, and that will cover your feet.
Is there anything that we could do so we can have the holocron?
Oh, you want the holocron?
We need it.
You need it.
We need it. And seeing as you're involved with the Empire Hudson Rebellion, maybe there's something we could do for you in exchange.
I have been getting bored of it, and it is kind of not a very profitable exhibit. No one really wants to see it. It's really just this glowing chunk of metal. People really like the poisonous butterflies a lot better.
Told you they were monsters.
Yes, yes, yes.
And they're beautiful monsters.
Yes. And the gigantic inside-out cats. That's another good exhibit. Anywho, what I'm thinking I could do for you is if you collect me a Wampa and a Rancor, I will trade you one Force Holocron for a Wampa and a Rancor. Do we have a deal?
Okay.
Excellent. And that is where we are going to end for today. So your homework is to go ahead and write the backstory of a cowardly character or an anthropomorphic character. What do they look like? Where are they from? What are their likes, their hobbies? If it's the anthropomorphic character, what are they trying to become? Are they trying to become more human? Are they trying to learn emotions? And what have you? As far as the cowardly character, what is it that scares them specifically? Is there a specific reason why? And what I would like you to do after you write a backstory about them is I would like you to write a single quick scene, 2 paragraphs of the moment where these characters actually achieve what it is that brings them to that heroic level. So for the coward, write a quick little scene where they've been scared for the whole scene and then something happens that makes them no longer scared. Or not necessarily no longer scared, but summon up the courage to accomplish whatever the task is that they're doing. If you're doing the anthropomorphic character, which is going to be pretty difficult, right? What is it that they did that finally made them or other people realize that they themselves are truly human or they truly do have real emotions? So it's a pretty tough one. That scene should be no less than 2 paragraphs, and you're also going to need an outline of a background, okay? So other than that, you've seen 2 examples, very good, of a coward and a anthropomorphic character. I am looking forward to knowing your characters that you develop yourself. So until next time, bye-bye!